Hi, welcome back, or welcome if you've not been with us before. My name's Suzanne from Money Made Magic, and we're here to help you on your financial freedom journey, help you to think about how you pay down debt, help you to think about your relationship with money. And today's video is just about how you view your relationship with money, and we're going to be looking at 3 steps that I think you need to do before you actually start paying down your debt. So one of the things that I've done on my journey is I've followed something called the Baby Steps program from Dave Ramsey, and you will probably have seen that. If not, I will be making another video just about that, and I'll be able to link that in the comments when that's done. So if you want to see that video, please just hit like, subscribe, because that way you'll get notified when that's ready. So that Baby Steps program is really good and really helpful, and I use something called the debt snowball method, where you tackle your smallest debt first and you pay it off with a vengeance, with you really pay it off fast. But for me, I didn't feel I could start doing that until I'd done these 3 steps, and I'm going to tell you what they are. So are you struggling to pay down your debt or pay it off? Are you struggling to actually start that journey? You may know the method you want to use. You may think, that you want to start, but you're really struggling to get there. And that's where these 3 steps really come in. So if that's you, if you've been struggling to pay down your debt, if you've been struggling to even start looking at that, you are in the right place. I am here to help you with that. I've been on this journey, and the biggest thing for me was starting to get a hold of where I was really with money. It's almost like gaining a sense of place, time, and these 3 steps were really what I noticed about what I did and how I actually got myself to the place where I was able to start paying down that debt. So the first thing, call it step number 1 if you like, look at your finances. Be aware of what they look like. Have a look at what you owe on your credit cards, your bank statements, anything else that you've got that's outstanding, anything that you need to make a payment on that is throwing interest back at you. That's taking money from you. Each time you accrue interest on an account, that's something you've got to pay back eventually. So the best thing to do is to look at what that looks like. Have a look at how many credit cards you've got and how much the balance is on each of those. Have a look at how much the interest is. Have a think about what that would be like if you never paid any more than the minimum payment. And if you never paid any more than the minimum payment, you're likely to have that debt with you for a lot of years. I think mine was something like 27 years to pay off. I don't even think I'm going to be around in 27 years time, like I'm no spring chicken. And so for me, doing those calculations about actually how much debt have I got? If I only paid minimum payments, how long would it take me to pay it off? If I could chunk that down and pay it off really quickly, what would that look like? And what would my life be like once I'd done that? So how much money would I have extra in the bank once those debts were clear? So that step number 1 is about just looking at what that picture is financially. And it's also about looking at what you pay out every month. So you may have rent or mortgage, you may have council tax. We have the council tax here in the UK. You may have, you'll have energy bills to keep yourself warm and to cook your food. You may have a car, you may have other transport costs. You may have all sorts of other things that come out of your bank account regularly. And you need to sit and look at those and look at, with all of them, whether you can make any savings on those. And you also need to look at what you spend that isn't on a direct debit or a standing order coming directly out of your account. So how much do you spend on food, and is that too much? And that was my biggest aha moment when I realised I was spending over £300 a month on grocery shops and takeouts and coffee and cake, things like that. I was astonished. So your finances are your finances, they're not the same as mine. So the first step is you having a look at that and seeing what that picture looks like. Make some lists, get into all your bank accounts and really understand what that picture looks like. Know how much you've got to pay off. And the next step is to start to make a plan. So step number 2 is making a plan. And this is really important because without a plan, you're kind of just throwing money into the wind, I always feel. So you need to have a really good overview of how you're going to start paying this debt off. Where are you going to find the money to do that? You know, if you live paycheck to paycheck, as lots of people do, you will be in a position where you feel like there's nothing left at the end of the month. And believe me, I have been in your shoes, most definitely, many times. And it's taken me a lot of years to get myself to the position where I can actually say, I've got a handle on things. So having a look at where you can make those savings, might be from your grocery bill, it might be from, you know, your takeout and coffee budget, it might be from your fuel allowance, it might be that you look at your outgoings that come from direct debits and realise that you're paying for a subscription that you no longer need. I, for example, did have a subscription to, I think it was Ancestry UK, lovely organisation, and I had some great pleasure out of that when I was using it, but I stopped using it and the money was just coming out of my account. So I've cancelled lots of subscriptions. Can you start a side hustle? There's loads of things out there in terms of bringing in an extra income. The possibilities are endless, you know, and again, I don't know what you do, I don't know what your skill set is, but think outside the box. You are only limited by your beliefs, and if you think you can and you think you can't, you're both right. You know, I speak to people regularly who say, oh well, I work here and I've always worked there, and what I say is, but could you use your skill set and do something different that pays you a little bit more? Could you work a couple of extra hours a week doing something outside of that? So those are the things that you need to think about with this step 2. Thinking about also how fast you can pay this debt off. And the snowball method is really good for that, because what it does, when you tackle your debt, you pay your smallest debt off first. And what that does is it gives you a sense of achievement, to feel that you've actually made a difference in your debt pay down. So making your plan is step number 2, and that's crucial. Without that plan, you've got no direction, you don't know where you're going, and you're just paying money off, and it feels like you're, you know, throwing it away into the wind sometimes. And finally, I want to talk about step number 3. And this is really crucial. I think this is the most important step. I don't think you can start this journey at all until you've done this properly. So step number 3 is looking at your relationship with money. Your relationship with money is crucial. And many of us have a very unhealthy relationship with money. Let me tell you, I'm breaking up with my credit card. I don't want to have it in my possession anymore. Once my debts are paid off, that's me done. We're over. And what I need you to do is I need you to start thinking about, why do I spend money? Why is it that I go to the shop or get online or whatever it is you do and buy those things? What do I buy? And why do I buy it? If it sits outside of what you absolutely need, So obviously you need to eat food and you need to have fuel to get to work and back if you go to work. So there are essentials, but outside of that, one of the things I was doing, for example, was paying with my debit card, not necessarily a credit card, but it was eating into my savings. I was spending more than I was earning. And what that was doing was just depleting my savings that I'd worked hard for. And I decided that I'd had enough. So I looked at my relationship with money. And what I discovered was that I was addicted to spending. I was addicted to buying things. I was buying things I didn't need. I was not shopping mindfully. So my wardrobe was rammed full of things that I probably never wear. It was so wasteful. And not just my wardrobe, it was other things. It's household things. You know, I'm a great lover of places like B&M Bargains and The Range and all those beautiful things. But then my house is cluttered. And what I discovered was I was absolutely addicted. And there is a physiological reason why we get a hit from spending, we get a high from spending and buying stuff, because it makes us feel good. It's one of those things that helps us release a chemical in our bodies called dopamine, which is a feel-good chemical. We get that from lots of different sources, but it's particularly relevant in the role of addictions. So it's very similar to when you're addicted to cigarettes, or you're addicted to alcohol, or any other substance, or gambling. So it can be, and it can feel like an addiction. One of the things that I found was that because I felt good when I'd spent something and bought something, and tried on a new dress or a nice bit of new makeup or whatever, had, you know, a new hairdo or something, I did feel really good. And there's nothing wrong with having things that make you feel good, but if you've got debt, you really need to think about, where can I find those other things that make me feel good, to stop me from spending stuff that I don't need to spend, to help me pay off my debt. So you need to look for your thing. I have no idea what that is, only you will know that. For me, it's walking along the beach. I'm fortunate that I live at the seaside. It's going to the gym. I've also discovered that I actually enjoy making videos and working on YouTube. It's brilliant. It's a great thing to do. Lots of fun. So have a think about why you spend what you spend. Step number 3 is really important. It's crucial. And I don't think any of us can start this journey without actually embarking on these 3 steps. Step number 1, look at your finances. Know what that looks like. Know it inside and out. Step number 2, make your plan. Make sure you know how you're going to achieve this. Set your goal. That's really important. And step number 3, explore your relationship with money. That's crucial. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. It'd be really great to have you with me on this journey.